Hey everybody, this is my name is Jeremy Watkin. I'm from Communicate Better blog and phone.com and here for another exciting coffee and customer service hangout. You should be excited too because Jenny and I have a special guest today. We have Doug Sandler, professional nice guy, DJ, customer service expert, and keynote speaker. Doug, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're drinking today?
Well, I've gotten a lot of hints from your previous sessions, so I have my own glass of water here, but mine's got a little mustache in here. So when I drink it, I'm hoping I get a little mustache, just like you, Jeremy.
Looks very nice.
That's awesome.
Did I get it? Did I get the mustache?
Yeah.
So
Maybe you could drink milk and then you'd go the milk mustache route.
yeah, the whole lactose intolerant thing that really doesn't work well for milk in the glass. so, so yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you guys. It's a lot of fun to be able to insert myself inside a show that and I call this a show because I watch you like I get ready. I'm prepared when I watch your show. I sit down when I got my glass of water. Usually have a snack or two. So I'm happy to be here to be a part of this to any degree. So thanks for including me here.
Yeah, Jenny, what do you got going on over there?
Well, gotta go with the style. I got a jug of water. I had some coffee earlier today, but because, we're on East Coast time, it's 1, and drinking coffee after noon usually means no going to sleep later in the evening. So, at least for me. But, yes.
Oh yeah, it's 1 there. It's still morning here for me. I guess I'm a little behind you guys. So Doug, we wanted to pick your brain a little bit this morning. We've obviously enjoyed our connection, reading each other's blogs and sharing. And I think you're one of our top commenters on our blog. So we've really enjoyed your input and feedback and just your unique experience with customer service. But here's my first question: what do you obviously have a unique experience. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and what qualifies you to be a customer service expert.
Oh, well, geez. Okay, well, thanks. Well, first of all, I love reading both of your blogs. What's really nice about it is that the reason I like to comment is because I have a hard time when we're speaking to the masses of the internet and whoever could be reading. I never know who's reading mine, so I always feel like if I at least put a couple of words as a comment, great job. Hey, I worked on this angle a little bit. I love this about it. You're not talking to the masses now. You feel like you're talking to one. So I love when I get responses from my blogs too, and oftentimes I'll get 5 or 10 or 20 or sometimes more comments, and those are the comments that really lead me on to writing my blog, inspiring me for future things that I write. So my background, I've spent actually this is my 30th year in the DJ business. 1984, I started as a DJ. In college as a junior, and you don't have to do the math. This year I will be celebrating my 50th birthday, so we're figuring that out, so I'm happy to do that. I've just really quick in the business realized it was not about the song that you put on at all, but the connection that you made with the crowd. And so I would say that my biggest tie into customer service is that it's not about equipment and gizmos and gadgets. It's all about that service, that connection that you're making, the relationship you're building. I can read a crowd probably in 5 or 10 minutes of going to an event and know how this party is going to lay out. And the beauty of it is that I might know it. It's always evolving. It's always changing, so the plan might change as we go along. But it's so wonderful when you make that connection and you connect with the crowd and they love you. It's like it's an energy that you can't get doing anything else, aside from being an entertainer, aside from being a speaker. Now I decided as a speaker because fast forward about 28 years, about a year and a half ago or so, I became a speaker in the same field, not of DJing, but in customer service. My clients hire me sometimes a year and a half or 2 years in advance. So we have a 4-hour window of a party, but we have a year and a half or 2 years of planning. And most DJs focus on that 4 hours. And I always tell my clients the important thing is to focus on that year and a half. I need you to get to event day anxiety-free. I'm not the best DJ in the world, but I am the best guy at giving fun. I give great fun. So that's really where I emphasize customer service.
Man, I love that quote. Get to event day anxiety-free. That's great customer service.
Well, and the thing about getting to event day anxiety-free, it's going to mean different things to each of your clients. So every year I might have 75 to 110 clients. That's a big range there, but generally it's no less than 75. Sometimes it's probably averages about 95 to 100 clients if you look at it over the average. Each one of those 100 clients is going to have a different set of issues and circumstances that they're going to need to be met before you get to party day. But we have to make sure that we're aware of what those anxieties are. It may be, for one client, it may just making sure that they stay under budget. For another, and that has nothing to do with the music of the party. It just has to do with the overall feel. If they're so worried about the money they can't have a good time at their party, then they're not going to have a good time at their party. So we have to help them along the way understand the process of making an event. And these events, they could be corporate events, they could be weddings, they could be bar and bat mitzvahs, which I do a huge amount of. So 30 years in the bar mitzvah world will train you for anything that you could possibly have coming after that.
So you wrote I know your whole shtick, for lack of a better term, in the customer service world is you're a nice guy. I think right before we met you, I wrote something about not wanting to just be nice. You have it, which is funny. I was like, oh man, I like to get along with people, so I would never intentionally call someone out or anything like that. But you have a great angle on what it means to be nice. And, Jenny and I talk all the time about awesome customer service, and awesome kind of like nice is a word that can easily be overused and cheapened. But we're constantly working to define what awesome means and make it truly awesome. So in that vein, what do you do to make nice something that really sticks in the minds of your listeners and readers?
And it's a great question, and I hate to say it, but nice is not a form of just customer service. Nice is a complete lifestyle. I mean, nice is a culture. If you are not, you can't turn on nice. You have to understand the importance of being nice. And to anybody that's watching or watching this in the future, that's seeing this, you're on all the time, and we need to realize that. As a guy that I've been self-employed for the last 30 years, and for a guy that has been self-employed and understands the importance of being a party guy, if I'm not treating, and this has nothing to do with the party, but if I don't treat that guy in the loading dock like he is a guest at my party, or the front desk person, or the lady on the phone that gives me directions and helps me to get to the venue, if I'm not treating everybody like they're a customer and being nice, then I'm not going to get referrals, because my job is certainly to do the job for the client. But if I don't book 2 or 3 jobs from a job that I'm at, then again, I'm in a bad spot. So for me, being nice was all about not just to the client, but to all of our clients, to everybody. So it's investing time, energy, and resources in the people that are our clients. It's inspiring them. It's being a consultant. It's not being a salesperson. It's not puking products. It's not all about just telling everything you know. Oh, well, you want to hire me? Well, great. Well, I have these amazing speakers, and I have 20,000 songs on my, most guys, that's what they want to do. They want to tell them all about themselves. So it's about becoming a friend, building a relationship. I start off every speech by saying, I'm an XOXO kind of guy, and if you're going to have a tough time with me being XOXO with you, then let me just help you to tell you why that's important, that you need to be XOXO with your client. Your client needs to be loved. They don't want to be sold. They want to be loved. So it's becoming a consultant. So you're investing time, you're inspiring them to take action, and then you're executing a plan. Not just executing a plan so that you're carrying out what you said. you can't see it, but on my sign right below your pictures is a little sign of mine. It says, set unrealistic expectations and exceed them. My whole life has been set in setting an unrealistic expectation. Nobody thinks I'm ever going to be able to accomplish that. And then going so far beyond that from a customer service perspective that they can't ever consider using anybody other than me. I get excited about talking about it because that's just my belief and my focus. So invest, inspire, and execute is the entire platform for my whole career, and it's always been that way.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, you kind of talked on that blog post, the "Who is your customer" from last week, and what you just said there sums it up. You never know who your customer is going to be, and it's so important to just always be nice. But I have a question for you. So, what do you do in the situations where people aren't necessarily so friendly? They're, maybe angry clients, or there's a problem and they're frustrated. What are your tips, I guess, or what's advice that you do to work with that and to, at the end of the day, resolve the problem, or if you can't resolve it, at least make sure that they're somewhat happy, even if still.
Again, great question, because the blog that's coming out that I have this Tuesday at 10 a.m. is all of my blogs. It's actually called Kill 'Em with Kindness. I find it's very, very challenging to argue with somebody that is not willing to argue back. I don't know if you found that, but if somebody is going to unload, let them unload. Do everything you can to resolve the problem for the client. Yes, you're going to have clients that no matter what, hey, you mispronounced my name in the introductions, you screwed up my product, you screwed up my service. You're going to have people that whatever you do, you're not going to make them happy. But you can make them happy in the resolution to their problem. You can go above and beyond with customer service, even if you know you're never going to get this client back again. Do not give up on that client. They will come back and they will refer you. You just have to be good enough at diffusing the situation. It's hard. Very rare that I have a client that's not happy with me, and I'm sure that you guys experience the same thing. But when you do, when you have that one client out of 100 that just can't stand whatever you've done or you've done it wrong, that's the one that we all take to heart, right? I mean, we feel like, oh, God, I really screwed up with this client, and I don't know how I'm going to fix it, but I promise I'm going to spend as much time as I need to resolve the issue with that client. Does that kind of help you with an unruly client, Jenny?
Yes. No, that's a great answer, really great answer. Just the focus on solving that problem and making sure that it's taken care of, whether or not they're going to remain your customer, because down the road they'll remember that, and they may return or refer others. And I love that title, Kill 'Em with Kindness. Love it. I'm looking forward to that post.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't written it yet, but I was inspired by, there was an article that I saw, let's see, I'm looking at it right now. It was dated October 2008 by a guy named Josh Radner, and I think that's his name. It's got his name on the byline, so I'm assuming that's him. It just talks about the rules of kindness and the rules of being polite. And we're in an industry that, especially the world that I'm in, might not be all of the people watching this or in your world, but we're in an industry that that is very ego-centered. And the problem with that is that ego-centered means I-centered. And people don't like to hear about I. They want to hear about you. They want to hear about them. It's all about building relationships. If you build a great relationship with somebody, I really feel like if there was a mistake or a problem along the way, they give you a couple of credits before they start to really throw the hammer down to you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Man, how have you, this is totally off topic, but as a DJ, how have you stayed relevant over the last 30 years? What are some of your, maybe this is actually, in any job, how do you stay relevant for 30 years? But how have you done it besides customer? Maybe it is all customer service, but what other things do you do to stay relevant as a DJ?
Well, fortunately in my industry, I can say to the people that hire me, now this might not work in every world, but this works in my world, is that you may not be hiring youth when you hire me, but I can bring youth to the event. So for me, if I have in a typical bar and bat mitzvah celebration, we normally have dancers and facilitators and other people that come. Now, I'm just the guy with the microphone, so I could be in a wheelchair in the microphone and 85 years old. As long, I mean, typically that's not the case, but most people that are in my world are in their mid-20s, so I can bring a mid-20 with me. It's not a problem. How do you stay relevant? That's a good question. I think the thing that you need to do in order to stay relevant is you need to always associate with people that are at or above your level. I have surrounded myself with so many smart people. Napoleon Hill used to call it a mastermind group. I think that's what he called it in his book Think and Grow Rich. But I've always surrounded myself with people that I really feel have their strengths where I have my weaknesses. I may not be a great business guy, so I surround myself with great business people. I may not be the best DJ in the world, so I'm the guy with the microphone. So I hire the DJ that comes and plays the music behind me that lets me go out and do my MC thing with the rest of the event. Staying relevant is critical. Nowadays, with technology moving everything so quickly, I stay relevant through reading posts like yours, on customer service. It's just recently that I got into the world of teaching customer service to other companies. So in order to get into that microwave oven, that fast cook, that people mover, I needed to get in as quickly as possible, learn as much as I could, hire people that know what they're doing, and listen to them and not be a skeptic. Just take it. Right now, I'm going on faith that the people that are guiding me are telling me the truth and giving me correct guidance. And so far, so good.
So one of my favorite, you just totally made me think of the Wedding Singer, which is one of my favorite movies. So how accurate is that movie?
It's pretty accurate, as a matter of fact. It's funny, just a side note, I have two kids. My daughter's name is Rachel. My last name is Sandler, so my daughter's name is Rachel. Of course, I named my son Adam, so I have Adam Sandler as my son.
Nice.
This happens to be a different Adam Sandler. How accurate is The Wedding Singer? It's pretty accurate. You know, it's for the guys that are not pros in our business. The Wedding Singer is very accurate. From the lead singer going to the bar, hitting on the bridesmaids and all the people at the party. Very, very, very accurate. We as professionals know that is not a way to win friends and influence people.
That is funny. Well, maybe your son will. Did they have was it Celebrity Life Swap or something where they had the same name, and I think the only one I saw was when David Hasselhoff and David Hasselhoff switched lives for a week or something.
The other thing that's really important to do, and I don't know, I'm certainly not a judge or a jury with any kind of moral situation here. I turned off my television about 3 years ago. I have not turned it back on. I discovered that my productivity, not that it was bad, but my productivity was not where it could be. And I turned off the TV 3 years ago. I cut the cable, and that probably has been the best thing I've ever done. Now I focus on the things that are important to me. I focus on my family. I focus on my business. I focus on relationships, the things that are critical. TV is not one of those things. I can do without the television.
That's a good money saver too. That cable stuff is expensive.
Oh yeah. I mean, the internet alone is about $50, but the TV was another 100 and some odd dollars, and it just didn't make sense. It's a time suck. I was reading a study, and it said the average American spends 34 hours a week watching television. And I was probably one of those guys, and my life was good, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be, and so I made some changes. So
are you gonna go back when the Nationals make the playoffs this year?
You know, it's an interesting comment that you make. I've never been a sports fan, but the other thing about it is I've never been a news fan either. So everybody says to me, well, you don't get the news, you don't watch the news, and I don't read newspapers either. So you don't read newspapers, you don't watch the news. I said, you know what? If it gets bad enough out there in the world, somebody will call me. I promise you, somebody will call me.
That's awesome.
That's a good way to stay nice.
Oh, and that's the other thing too. When you read in the newspaper, it is hard. It is hard to be happy when you're reading all this ugly news out there. And you know, people. I have gotten calls from people telling me about, you know, the journalist. You know, the unfortunate thing that happened with the journalist. And I don't know if they've discovered if it was actual or real, or you know, I don't know. I have just chosen not to put my head in the sand, because I will listen when people talk. And you get a lot of news through CNN on your phone anyway, if they send you the auto updates and stuff. But I feel like the important information that's out there in the world, somehow it makes it to me. I've been challenged 17 times for this ALS thing already.
That's
and it reached me. I didn't need to watch the news to know it was important.
So here's a random question for you, but back to customer service a little bit. In your early career in customer service, what's maybe a mistake you made that you learned from, that you've carried with you, and that maybe you now even share with your audiences?
Well, and that's not even a random question. That's a perfect question, because my entire speech, my entire keynote presentation is based upon a career-changing performance in 1992. And one performance, I can go back to one specific day that changed the entire outlook that I have on customer service. I was about 8 years into the business at that point, because I started in '84. So about 8 years into the business, and I knew everything, because I'd been 8 years in, I knew everything I knew about customer service already, because I've been doing it 8 years. But the thing I didn't know, actually I didn't know anything, you know, but I didn't realize until 1992 when I did a job in New Orleans, and within 15 minutes of a 4-hour event, the entire event was turned on its head. I mean, it was bad. The kids managed to dismantle every centerpiece and suck the helium out of the balloons, throw pea soup on the walls, lit toilet paper on fire in the bathrooms. I mean, it was as far as a disaster goes, it was a disaster. And the client had paid me big money to come down to New Orleans to do this event for them. What I didn't realize is the reason they actually paid me, which I thought was because they loved me and they heard about me, and there was my ego. The reason they hired me was because nobody else in New Orleans would do that event, because the kids were so horrible. They had been to 49 other events that year. This was the 50th, let's say. And it was just, what it taught me about customer service was the importance of investing time, energy, resources in my client. Because I didn't talk to the client before event day. I mean, why would I need to talk to the client? I knew everything I needed to know already, right? You know, I didn't inspire the client. It didn't help them come up with plan A or B or C. And Lord knows I did not help them execute a plan, because as soon as the party went south, I didn't even blame it on me. I blamed it on those crazy kids, those stupid kids at the party. So I screwed up in every way, and it was a valuable lesson that threw me on a path of, I got to get my act together, because if I don't get my act together, I'm not going to be in this industry very long. And I wanted to, in the worst way, make it a full-time effort. It took me another 4 or 5 years beyond that event to finally go full-time as a DJ in the mid-'90s. But since then, I haven't looked back. And my sole focus, if somebody were to say, what is the key? If you've had any level of success, what's the key? The key is exemplary customer service. Never, 100%. No room for error, no margin for error, no mistakes. Call every call, return every email, return every text, everything. You must be on point all the time. They're not going to forgive you if you mess up. Because while you might have an event next week that's somebody else's, you're messed up on their event, and that's the one that's important for them.
Man, you make such a great point. I love you could just show up and do your thing, but you know, Jenny and I, we read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and since reading that, the concept of seeking first to understand before being understood it's just cemented in my brain now. But that's a really great way that you're practicing that, by getting to know your client before the event, getting to understand their needs, and then I mean that you are then equipped to deliver an outstanding performance because you know exactly what they want. And, so many people don't do that. I know I've definitely served customers on my terms instead of theirs many times, and that's something I had to learn over time, over many shouting matches with a customer. It's amazing I'm still employed.
Yeah, Jenny, sorry.
No, no. I think that, I mean, it brings up such an important point to really know your customer, because it engages them that much more and they trust you. That level of trust is there, and then when you go out there and you do the job and you know, exceed everything that they ever thought, like, that trust level is so high, and then they're all your referrals. They're telling everybody. It's just a win-win situation. But I mean, you had to learn. We all have to learn that, like Jeremy said. You know, it's not something that necessarily comes naturally. I mean, there's books about things and everything, but where did you really, like, do you feel that you learned mostly from your experience, or did you have guides along the way, or people that inspired you or gave you information? Like, how did you really get all of this information and be able to use it to your advantage for your business?
Well, when I was growing up, my mom, God bless her, who is 81 years old now, my mom, before I would leave the house all the time, she would say, "Dougie, be nice." I didn't know what that meant. You know, I didn't know if what nice really was. When you're 4 years old and you're leaving the house, how do you know what the heck nice means? I think what she was referring to is just be considerate of other people, understand their situation, know where they're coming from. I think it was last week, this past week, I wrote a blog called 51 Lessons About Life, Relationships, and Customer Service I Wish I Knew a Little Sooner. You know, it's important, and they're all one-liners. They're all like, I've gotten so many. I've gotten more responses on Facebook, Twitter, and on my website on that blog than I've gotten on any other. I think that many of them hit home with so many people. A lot of it has been through, unfortunately, the school of hard knocks. I've learned the hard way that rule of customer service is the customer is always right. If they're not right, figure out how to make them right. You know, so you learn about these things through just beating your head up against the wall enough times. The goal of my program, my presentation, when I either do a workshop or keynote, or in my book, the goal of that book and presentation and keynote is to hopefully, I think this is the goal of every book that somebody puts out, but I want to make sure that people understand the errors that you can make and try to avoid them. I think that there's nothing beating experience as a good set of lessons. But if somebody can tell you, hey, that really is not a good idea to have an argument with a client, when are you going to win? Who's going to win if you have an argument with a client? Nobody is going to win. The client's going to walk away. You're going to feel horrible about it, and you're going to lose a client in the process. So much easier to be nice and be kind, kill them with kindness, get to the bottom line, find out what it's going to take to resolve the issue, and move on. A lot of times, though, what's interesting is so many people associate customer service with fixing problems, resolving an issue. It goes so far beyond that. It's just one of the things that we do in the world of customer service. Customer service is about creating this level of this huge experience for your customer where they can't imagine going anywhere else because you're the only one they're focused on. You're the only one that they're going to think about. So it's more than resolving an issue. It's helping them work through a whole set of circumstances. We're the experts. We need to show our clients what it's going to take to get from the time that they first talk to you to the time that they use your product or service. And our job is to make it seem like this is the first time we've heard. We don't want to ever make it seem like you're reading a script. Hey, I've heard that question 3,000 times before. Let me answer it the same way. You got to make it sound like this is the first time you've ever heard that question. Be genuine. Love up on your customer. A lot of XOXOs. And give them the response that you feel is appropriate for them, not the response that's appropriate for your script.
I like it. Man, you're so inspiring. This is great.
I know, I'm totally inspired over here. So when are you coming to San Diego to give a presentation?
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. So I always talk to my clients about who in your area can I try to call on while I'm out there, so that I can come to your office and give you a presentation too. I met someone through Twitter, and I'm a very visual kind of guy, so I send you've been the victim of many of my tweets, so you've probably seen all the pictures in addition to the lines that I send out. So this one person, she works for a company in the Midwest, and she was talking to me about just the message that I put together, and she felt like you. She was so inspired. She wants to talk to her boss about bringing me out. I'm like, great. That's why I'm in this business. I love to spread the message of nice guys finish first. There is a place in this world for nice guys, and we do finish first. It may take us a little longer, but we do finish first.
Yeah, it's definitely finishing first the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I could not imagine. I love DJing. I love dealing with my clients. I love playing music, but I really do love the client interaction. I would not even mind if my job was just to do everything up to the 4 hours and then hand the 4 hours over to somebody else. I wouldn't mind that, because I do really so much enjoy the part that's the relationship build. And for me to now be able to go out to the world and talk about Nice Guys Finish First as my product, I'm in such a good. I'm feeling on top of the world that I'm actually being able to do this. And at some point, the DJ business, that's financially supporting my my habit of being a speaker right now. Eventually, I'll be able to do workshops and keynote speaking. All over the country, all over the world is my goal. I'd love my book to be able to go viral. Who knows? I'm just a guy that's just going to keep that flywheel running. I'm just going to keep running right now until it finally goes on its own.
So how close are you to the book? How close are we to seeing that out in the world?
Well, there's two routes I can take: self-publishing or publish it myself. I mean, self-publishing or have a publisher do it. So if I publish it myself, I'll be done with the draft in probably 2 or 3 weeks, because I've my discipline level. Oh, you asked me earlier, which was a good question. How do you teach you and Jenny how to actually put a book together? It sounds daunting if you say I'm going to write a 200-page book. But it doesn't sound quite as daunting that says I'm going to write 10 pages for 20 weeks. So I literally have spent the last 16 weeks writing 10 pages a week. I get all my inspiration from blogs like yours, from the comments that I get from people that respond to your blogs. I've put out a blog every week for the last, I think it was 47 weeks or something, 50 weeks, whatever it's been. And I get a lot of my inspiration from the responses that I get. So to answer your question, sorry I didn't answer your question. The answer to the question is 3 weeks before I'm finished with my first draft. A couple of weeks in editing, I hope, no more than that. It probably takes another 90 days after that to get it actually on the street if I do it myself. If I let a publisher do it, I think it's going to probably take 6 months to a year. So I'm thinking that I don't know what approach to take. It depends on what my goal is, and my goal is adjusting as I'm getting closer to finish line right now.
Well, we'll be lining up to buy it, and we'll have you on another hangout so we can talk about it after we read it.
I love that. I love that.
It's funny because I think the first time you approached me, you came across one of our posts and you were like, "Hey, I really like this. Can I use it in my book?" And I'm like, "Who is this guy?"
I'm sure. I knew when I wrote that. I was thinking when I wrote that, I'm like, he is going to think I'm a total creeper.
It's okay. We're used to creepers, but Jenny especially. We actually have a mock. I guess maybe you've seen the TV show The Office once or twice.
Yeah. Sure.
We used to do a mock awards ceremony, kind of like the Dundies on The Office, and Jenny got the Creep Magnet Award. She attracts some like like crazy.
And you know what it is? It's because you just are nice to everyone, and the people that don't usually get people being nice to them latch on to you, and that's a challenge right there. Which, I mean, I don't.
I think it's even more difficult as a woman to get to be nice, because that's what happens. When I'm nice to people, they still go away. So it's fine.
That is a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have it in front of me, but because now I just get your blogs by email. But so how do people connect with you and read your blog and learn about your Nice Guy? Is it Nice Guy 30? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, I have it. Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you. Let me tell you the website, and then I'll tell you about just a thumbnail sketch of the program. So my website is pretty simple. It's DougSandler.com. So DougSandler.com. You can sign up for my blog right from my homepage. There's a little spot that says subscribe. It comes out, like I said, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. I try to be, and that's 10 a.m. your time. So fortunately for MailChimp, they have a way that they can do it to the time zone. So that comes out. I found that a lot of people are saying, well, how do you become a nice guy? So I came up with this program called the NG30, the Nice Guy 30. It's not going from mean to nice guy in 30 days. It's just going from being a regular person to being a nice person in 30 days. It's all stuff that you're probably already doing. It's just now keeping a calendar and a formula to actually keep track. It's free. It's on my website, again, DougSandler.com, and I have a small publication also called 5 Biggest Mistakes Made by Sales and Customer Service. It's a free download as well. I'm giving away as much content as I possibly can in hopes that people will say, hey, this guy really knows what he's talking about. He's done this for 30 years. Let's give him a try and bring him out to our company and let him speak to our people. Because that's ultimately, for me, where I want to be. Is I want to be a keynote speaker going around the country and talking to companies about this Nice Guy program.
That's awesome. Well, I definitely think it works, and you've inspired your audience today, Jenny and me, and whoever our one viewer is that I see here on this Hangout. We're going to publicize this, and I hope even just this little slice of Doug Sandler makes it around and people get to watch this today. Thanks so much for joining us. Do you have any questions for for Jenny and me?
Yeah, I do have some questions. So I don't know a lot about the dynamic between everybody. So both of you work for the same company?
Mm-hmm. Yep, phone.com.
And in the same company, in the same department, just in different locations in the U.S.
Yep, exactly. He's the director of customer service, and I'm a customer service a customer success manager. So right.
So I'm assuming from that you get to order Jeremy around?
He gets to order me around.
I have a feeling he doesn't do that very much, though.
No, I don't have to. Yeah, I think Jenny and I have worked together for 9 years, and a couple years ago, Jenny's always been a star customer service person. I learned so much from her. But a couple years ago, I was in an airport and saw customer service had a really weird customer service experience, and was like, man, I need to just start blogging about this stuff. And who's the first person that came to mind to share the idea with? It was Jenny, and I was like, hey, what do you think about starting a blog with me where we just talk about customer service experiences and use it as a way to learn about the good and the bad, and learn how to make our style better, and learn how to improve the customer service on the team that we oversee. It's been one of the most inspiring things I've ever done in my work.
I think what's so great about it is that you two have what is it? One person is equal to 1 times 2 people is equal to 20-fold. It's when you have a team, which is why I've surrounded myself in my entire career with people better than me at the things that I'm weak at. it's critical. It really is. It's so amazing. It's inspiring to work with somebody that inspires you.
Yeah, definitely. And then, I mean, this has opened up the ability to meet people like you, and we can rattle off a list of 50 people at least that we've met just by doing this blog. And but other bloggers read their blog and comment on their blog, and they quickly become your friends.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. I like that this is a small community of the internet, as my son calls it, the interweb. The internet is a bunch of small communities. It's a huge thing, but this customer service side of it, I have been so inspired over the last 12 months or so, a year and a half of putting this business together. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, excellent. Well, we've certainly enjoyed your company today. Maybe someday we'll change this from coffee and customer. I had green tea today, just FYI. Now I'm down in the delicious Starbucks ice. But maybe someday we'll call this water and customer service and just be a little bit more truthful there. Doug, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Doug. This is great.
Thank you, Jeremy, Jenny. Thank you for having me. It's been great to finally meet some people that I've really looked up to through the last so often of reading your blog. So thank you, and congratulations to you guys for being both on that top 50 of biggest influencers.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. You'll be there, and you'll be there next year for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, everybody who watches this, please take a look. Please check out our blog and watch this hangout. I'm glad that this is sealed forever in history. Check out DougSandler.com. Subscribe to his blog. Do the Nice Guy 30 program. I need to actually get on that. And have a terrific weekend. And thank you so much for watching. Any other comments from you guys before I shut this thing down? This is the awkward part of the program.
The awkward endings.
Shut it down.
All right, I'm killing it. Take care, everybody.
Bye.